Hello, hello. Welcome in. How are you doing? Haven't seen you in a minute. Joshua, welcome into the building. Hello, everyone. Yes, you are the first one in the house. Okay. Oh, yes. It is day 34 of the government shutdown, and I am here just to do a little recap. Um, so as you come in the building, go ahead and get the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. That means double tap your screen. If you are viewing from your phone, just double tap your screen. And if you are watching from your computer, go ahead and just hit the thumbs up so that we can get people in here and have a conversation. What's going on? It's day 34 of the government shutdown. We made it through the weekend, right? The 1st of November. And yeah, there wasn't a big run on the grocery stores. A lot of people were concerned that there was going to be a big run on the grocery stores. When I say run on the grocery stores, hello, Brother Vic, welcome in, welcome in. When I say run on the grocery stores, I mean that there was predicted that people were going to go and start looting, getting what they need for their families, for their children. But it didn't go down just yet. A couple of people, from what I've heard, went into the grocery stores trying to get some food items and things of that nature. But it really hasn't hit yet because people still have a little bit of food left, a little bit of substance still left at home. So I don't think that we'll be seeing that big run on grocery stores just yet. And let me tell you something: these people, they ready for you. They are ready for you. So don't go out there acting a fool, people. Do not go out there acting a fool, going to them grocery stores, thinking you're gonna run up in there, getting you some food, and just smoothly walking out of there. It's not gonna go down like that. They are prepared for you. They probably, I mean, they got the undercovers and the squat probably is out waiting for you. Okay, don't run up in them grocery stores. Okay, as a matter of fact, I decided today that if you are subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Come on in the building, subscribe to the channel today. But if you are subscribed to the channel, and I've always said one of my favorite places, no matter what job, what status I have in life, has been the Dollar Tree. So I was thinking, because I know a lot of Black folk, I'm just going to make it plain today, know how to survive in times of struggle, right? We know how to get down. We know how to survive because that's been our MO for a long, long time, right? Survival of the fittest. They are pushing it to try to make people break. Yeah, um, of course, they want some things to go down, but also I think they're doing some other things because when they have such this is my theory, when they have you looking so hard in a particular area, anything, like if it was like the P Diddy trial or something, you best know that they're planning and doing other things so that your attention can stay on this government shutdown, right? But they're planning and plotting behind the scenes. You best believe that, okay? They're planning and plotting behind the scenes. So, but like I was saying, I'm going to do uh, shop with me, shop with me, and this is for my middle class families that probably don't even go into Dollar Tree. Y'all probably don't go to the Dollar Tree, but I know a lot of y'all hurting out there right now. I know that you're hurting. I know that you don't know really how to survive because you haven't had to live that life. I'm not being funny. I'm saying it like it is. So I'm gonna do a shop with me so I can teach you how to survive. Just in case the shutdown goes a little longer because hey, flights are delayed. They just like, I'm not even coming in. They gotta go drive Uber now. They gotta go drive Uber. You know what I'm saying? just so they probably can eat and keep the lights on, but that still ain't enough. So that you're not going to your family gathering this Thanksgiving on time. You might not even make it, right? So what I'm going to do is we're going to listen to the speaker, okay, of the house. We're going to listen to him, see what he has to say. And if you have any comments that you want to say, or feel free. This is an open platform. Feel free to put your thoughts in the comment section. And as long as you stay polite and courteous, okay? Because we don't want my mods to have to kick you up out of here, and they will do it, okay? Brother Vic is on the case. he will get you up out of here, okay? So be polite to the people in the chat and to myself, okay? And also my other mods that come into the building, they handle business around here. So what we're going to do is just tap in Ear Hustle for a little bit and see what's going on in the government. I heard that, some of you by now have heard that there was 2 judgments that they need to pay these people some money, get these food stamps recipients some food. Okay, 2 judges ruled on that. On the first, I think Trump was called into a meeting or a court today, Monday, the 3rd. So we're going to just listen to some of that, what's going on. So let me just go ahead without any further ado. Go ahead and double tap your screen. Go ahead, do that for us, sister. Double tap your screen, get the thumbs up, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel today. We are ear hustling, okay? We got to get through some commercials.
I don't understand what this word means. See,
so as the commercials are going through, go ahead and get the thumbs up, subscribe, and participate. All right? I'm going to run this back. Here we go.
U.S. history. And we wanted to just have officially the second longest shutdown in U.S. history. And we wanted to just have a simple exercise with you this morning to go through just a couple of important facts. There's such a
Let me pause really quick. I know that is the running statement right now. They need to get a job. Do you realize the majority of people that are on food stamps or government assistance have jobs? Do you realize that the minimum wage is still only $7.25? They're not, for the majority of the people, they're not just sitting at home eating bonbons. The majority of the people that are on food stamps, and I call it food stamps because I'm old school, SNAP benefits for you youngsters, they work. They actually work. All right? And it's military families as well that are receiving these benefits. Let's continue.
Amount of gaslighting and false information that Democrats are engaging in right now. And so we thought it would be useful to just this morning, in a very brief and concise manner, separate fact from fiction. So I'm just going to go through 4 false claims that you have heard over and over and over, and just explain once more what the simple truth is. Meredith, let me see the first slide here. Here's the first one. The obviously false claim of the Democrats is that Republicans have closed the government. I've heard them say this myself. You've all seen it in interviews. They're blaming the shutdown on the Republicans, and it is patently absurd. The next slide will show you the simple fact, the obvious fact that everyone can see. It is Republicans who have voted to open the government 14 times. Now, remember how this came about. Back in September 19th, in the House, Republicans in the House voted to open the government, the clean continuing resolution to keep everything in operation. Every Democrat except one in the House voted to close the government. But we still passed it because we have the majority. And so we sent that bill over to the Senate. And 13 different occasions, 13 times, the Democrats have voted to close the government. Republicans voted yes every time to open it. Republicans in the Senate and the House voted to keep the lights on, to pay service members and our troops who are in harm's way, Border Patrol agents, TSA, air traffic controllers, all federal workers. They voted to ensure that women, infants, and children nutrition programs continue and that SNAP benefits continue to go to the American families who are in need. But by contrast, the Democrats have voted no every single time. And what is outrageous to us is that they have gone onto the Senate floor. Senate Democrats, they have voted no. They have voted to close the government. And then they have gone out into the hall to the nearest camera they can find. And they have looked into the lens and said, Republicans are shutting down the government. It makes no sense. It's the most extreme example of gaslighting in the history of American politics. And many in the media have allowed them to get away with that. It's shameful. Let me show you another obviously false claim. Obviously false claim number 2 of the Democrats is that Republicans are being unreasonable. Well, here's the fact. Let me see the next one. The fact is very simple. Republicans are refusing to accept the Democrats' outrageous demands. Now, why do we say that? Now, remember, Republicans passed a clean continuing resolution. It was nonpartisan. It was a simple bill that would open the full government. And we could do that today. If they would pass that today with zero strings attached, everything would be flowing again and the government would work. Importantly, remember that we offered that CR in good faith. Why do we say that? Because it was offered after a bipartisan, bicameral negotiation between both chambers. Because you see, you had the appropriators, Republican and Democrat appropriators, who got together and decided they agreed on the need for a short-term CR so that they could continue their negotiations on the full-year funding bills. But this is something Democrats have spoken passionately about and acted upon many times in the past. We've recounted here every day. 13 different occasions in the Biden administration, they passed continuing resolutions. They did it most recently in March of this year when Chuck Schumer and 10 Senate Democrats, including the leader, Schumer, voted for the CR and told us how important that was. The CR that's on the table right now and has been sitting there for 45 days is nearly identical to the one that they voted on in March. But shockingly, this is the big thing.
All right. As the commercials go play on, go ahead and get the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. All right. Welcome in. Hello. Much love back to you. Get the thumbs up so that we can get the conversation going. This is an open platform for your ideas to be heard and open discussion. So make sure you just are courteous in the chat, but you are free to express yourself here. All right. Yeah, it's 34 days. The first, it wasn't a raid like people thought it was going to be. People thought the grocery stores was going to get just trampled down. People was just going to be running in there, trampling down the grocery store, trying to get them groceries for them children. It hasn't hit like that just yet, I say, because people still have not, the good stuff. I don't care even if it's if you're not even on SNAP. When you go grocery shopping, you should. And I'm going to say you should buy your staples, what my mom called them staples, your beans, your rice, things of that nature. And if you're meat eaters, get your meats and all of that, and your vegetables and things like that. But you also get your snack stuff. All of the snacks foods is you better bet that stuff is gone. Right? So they still have some substance in their home, some stuff, but it might not be what they want to eat, but it's something still in their homes. But that is truly going to be running out very soon. Who is what, Brother Vic? Who is that? What do you mean, who is that? So go ahead and hit the thumbs up. We are ear hustling, just tapping in to listen in on day 34 of the government shutdown. I am your host, Ethereal. Let's get this up.
$1.5 trillion with a T in new spending obligations in exchange for the simple funding resolution. They filed on paper in the Senate record back in September, and it still sits there as their counter proposal. They would spend $1.5 trillion of your taxpayer funds. Included in that is nearly $200 billion of taxpayer funds that they want to use to restore free health benefits to illegal aliens. They want to spend billions in wasteful left-wing spending projects in foreign countries on things like LGBTQ plus awareness, in the Horn of Africa, all sorts of things. I could give you a long list, and we've said it here before. They want to spend $500 million to prop up left-leaning news organizations. And shockingly, in that same proposal, as their ransom for reopening the government, they want to cut $50 billion from the Rural Hospital Fund that the Republicans just got signed into law on July 4th. That is the bill that they filed that shut down the government. And every American can see that for themselves. So their claim about Republicans being responsible is laughable. Let me go to the third one. False claim number 3, Democrats are fighting for health care. You've heard this over and over and over. Let me say something very simply about this false claim. It is the Democrats who created Obamacare. It is the Democrats who did that without any Republican votes. It's the Democrats who, by extension, have cost the American taxpayers and people who have health insurance have made their costs skyrocket. It is their policies that made that happen. And so instead of reforming it, the Democrats don't reform Obamacare. They want to subsidize it. They want to spend more taxpayer dollars. That, by the way, goes mostly to insurance companies, which makes the cost rise further. That's the Democrats' plan. When they passed Obamacare in 2010, they called it the Affordable Care Act. We know the truth is exactly the opposite. By some estimates, premiums have risen 60% in many categories since they passed that bill into law. Now, the fact is the opposite. Republicans are the ones fighting to save healthcare. Why? It's not just talking points to us. We do this. We have ideas, and we have already implemented ideas and measures to reduce costs, increase access and quality, and eliminate fraud, waste, and abuse. Now, why do we say it's not just a talking point? Why do we say the Republican Party is the only one advancing common sense reform solutions? Because we've proven it.
This girl's cruel father pushed her
Thumbs
into
up,
a river
thumbs
full
up,
of dead
thumbs up.
crocodiles. He wanted her dead.
Thumbs up. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel today. If you're on your computer, just hit the thumbs up or double tap your screen if you're viewing from your phone.
The Working Families Tax Cut. We took a look at Medicaid, and we took on that challenge. We took action to reduce fraud, waste, and abuse in Medicaid. We got able-bodied young men without dependents off the program. We got illegal aliens off the program, and we saved $185 billion just to start. We got millions of ineligible enrollees off the program, and it preserved it. It strengthened Medicaid for the people who rely upon it, which is the elderly, disabled, and young pregnant women, as we always use as an example. No, it's not about health care. That is a false claim, and everybody knows it. Everyone in America, and certainly everybody in this room, understands that this is about something else. What this is about fear. The Schumer shutdown was never about health care. That's a distraction. It's a red herring, as we say in debate club.
All of it is
This is about
distraction.
fear. And what is the
Cause
fear?
for the cause. First of all, they all work together. I don't care what you say. That's my thoughts. That's my opinion. I have my opinion just like you have your right to your opinion. They're all in it to win it together, okay? I've said this once and I'll say it again. Shortly, you'll be under a one world order or a new world order. And he's definitely right. It's a distraction, like I was saying earlier in the program. This shutdown is definitely a distraction, and we're looking at the shutdown and focusing on that. But you bet your bottom dollar something's going to come out the woodworks that's going to blow your mind because we weren't paying attention. You know what I'm saying? So let's continue.
The resolution on the COVID-era Obamacare subsidy issue was always going to be slated for debate in October, November, and December. Everybody knows that, and every Democrat knows that. It's an issue that's too complex to be solved on a short-term funding measure like a CR. They know that very well. This is about fear. Everybody in the country is watching the elections that will happen tomorrow. You got big elections in New Jersey and Virginia, the governor's races and attorney general's races, etc. But all the attention is focused primarily on New York City. Why? Because the fear that Mamdani and all that he represents will be risen to power, that he'll be elected the mayor of America's largest city, the once cradle of capitalism, that we're going to have a Marxist, a communist running the largest city. Now this terrifies the establishment old guard Democrats in Washington. And the leaders of both chambers are among those most terrified. They're both from New York. Leader Hakeem Jeffries is the Democrat in the House, and Leader Schumer in the Senate. They're both from New York, and they're terrified. You've watched their actions carefully. Many of you have not reported on it enough. Poor Hakeem Jeffries had to finally, he was forced to endorse Mondani. And he's terrified that he now owns the results of that. Chuck Schumer's been dancing around the issue, but he knows he's darned if he does, darned if he doesn't. They're both terrified, and so that is the fear. This is a fact, and you should print it this way. The Schumer and Jeffries and their colleagues fear political retribution from the far left activists in their party more than they fear the consequences of keeping the government closed for weeks on end. They fear that personally for their own political future, and they care more about that than they care about SNAP benefits flowing to hungry families, about air traffic controllers being paid so they can keep the skies safe, Border Patrol troops, and all the rest. It pales in comparison.
What's crazy. I've heard other reports that air traffic controllers are now receiving eviction notices, along with other federal workers are now receiving eviction notices from their, a lot of them still rent. Everybody that is not a homeowner. So, and a lot of these companies, these managing companies, you can't blame them, because look what y'all remember what happened during COVID, when they gave all that time for people to get these vouchers, and then people stayed in homes longer than they were supposed to, tore up homes. So a lot of property management companies are skeptical, even though these people have quality jobs, even though these people work for the government, they don't care. They've been through, it's almost flight or flight for them as well, for these property managers. So they're giving out eviction notices to government workers that are they're needed. So now that's another stressor that you're putting on people who have to go govern the skies. That's wild. Let's continue.
Full summary that is a simple fact. It is extremism on the left that is the direct cause of American suffering right now. One more fact. The obviously false claim number 4 this morning is that Republicans are responsible for all this pain. It's just a nonsensical statement. It's a nonsensical statement because the fact is very clear. This is about math. Republicans need at least 7 Democrats to join us. We only have 53 Republicans in the Senate. It takes 60 votes to reopen the government in the Senate. The House did its job September 19th. We're waiting on the Senate to get this done. Leader John Thune and the Republicans have bent over backwards. They've done everything they can. You saw his frustration and his anger boil up on the floor at the end of last week. A normally calm, pretty steady leader, very steady leader. We're all angry about this because we're sick of what they're doing. They're using the American people as pawns, as leverage, and that is the word that so many of them have used. We could name senator after senator, House member after House member, from the leadership ranks all the way down to rank and file on the Democrat side. They have admitted openly they're using the American people as leverage in this political game. They're motivated out of fear. They want to show a fight to the radical left so they don't lose their political seats, and they're willing to make the American people suffer for it. That is the fact. This is about math. Republicans have to have at least 7 Democrats. We need 5 more. 5 more moderate, centrist, common sense people who care more about the constituents they serve and the country that they supposedly serve than their own political futures and the retribution they'll receive from the Marxist, Mondami, communist left in the party if they do the right thing here. I wish these weren't the facts. I take no pleasure in telling you this. It is disgusting to us. But there's no other way to candy coat this, to make it any prettier than it is. So we're now entering the 5th week of this Democrat shutdown, and it's for one reason. Democrats made a deliberate choice to keep the government closed. The shutdown will only end when those same Democrats make a deliberate choice to open it. The entire country is calling and waiting on just 5 more Senate Democrats to come to their senses and do the right thing. We are pleading with them to do so. This is not a game. The solution is sitting right in front of them. Pass the clean CR, end this madness, and open the government. You'll hear next from our majority leader in the House, Representative Steve Scalise. Do you want to see how fast I
All
can earn
right.
crypto with a
Thumbs
Gemini
up,
credit
thumbs
card?
up, thumbs up. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up. Double tap your screen. You know the drill. You know the drill. And subscribe to the channel today. You're all welcome here, right? If you have a voice, you have a mind. If you're not a bot, welcome. Come on in, subscribe to the channel today. You're welcome. Hey, welcome in. Okay. And while we're waiting through these commercials, I want to go ahead and once again give a shout out to one of my number one subscribers and one of my number one supporters. Excuse me, supporters of the platform, Brother Vic. Thank you for your support, Brother Vic. All right. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, so we're gonna keep the party going. My name is Ethereal. I am your host, and welcome to the stream.
Democrats continue to impose this suffering. Their attempts to mislead the American people are working overtime. The speaker laid out a number of those statements that Democrats have made over and over again to try to mislead the American people. And it doesn't just end there. Over the weekend, Chuck Schumer tweeted out, quote, Republicans have done everything in their power to raise your health care costs and kill SNAP for millions of hungry Americans. Now, Chuck Schumer knows good and well what he said there is not only misleading, it's patently false. I tried to give it Pinocchio awards, but I don't want to associate the character Pinocchio with Chuck Schumer in that statement. Let's start with the first half of what he said there. Raising healthcare costs. Who is the party that's done that? The healthcare law of the land, and not sure if Chuck Schumer's been updated on the law, but Obamacare is the law of the land in healthcare. And we can all go look at the votes going back the last 10 years. It's been partisan votes all the way through for Obamacare. They called it, as the speaker said, they named it the Affordable Care Act. It's been anything but. Costs for families are up over 80% in their premiums because of Obamacare. And what have they tried to do over and over again? They've tried to mask the cost. They haven't tried to work with Republicans to fix it. They've tried to mask the cost. Hundreds of billions of dollars of bailouts to insurance companies. Not helping families get better options. Democrats have never cared about that. And in fact, when we, as we pointed out multiple times, passed provisions in the working families tax cuts, the cost share reductions, that were scored by CBO to lower premiums by double digits for families. It passed the House, and it was Democrats who worked overtime to get that removed in the Senate. They are still bragging about it today on the Democrat Budget Committee's website, that they removed a provision that would have lowered premiums for families. So who is it that's raising costs for families? Of course, it's been Democrats every step of the way, and the only thing scored by CBO to reduce premiums on families that have passed either house, the Democrats worked overtime to get that removed. The other half of that, he talks about SNAP. And of course, we know there have been votes in the House and Senate to save the SNAP program from cuts, from being zeroed out. It's called the Clean CR. Passed the House with Republican-only votes, primarily, with Democrats uniting to try to kill it, but luckily we have the majority in the House, and you go over to the Senate, and we know they have a 60-vote requirement, and Democrats have over and over and over again voted in lockstep with Chuck Schumer to block SNAP benefits. There is a vote you can go look at every day that they've taken that vote that would have opened the government, fully funded SNAP, or shut it down. And it's Republicans who are voting yes, and it's Democrats who are voting no. And Chuck Schumer's been leading that charge. And then he votes no to kill the SNAP program, to create tremendous uncertainty, to create millions of hungry Americans, to use his own word. Chuck Schumer has voted to put those millions of hungry Americans in that situation. And then he walks out to the microphone, as the speaker said, and then he tries to blame it on somebody else. People are sick and tired of it. We're surely sick and tired of it, but the American people are suffering, to use the Democrats' term, while those same Democrats that impose the suffering are going out and trying to mislead and lie to the American people and blame somebody else for the very votes they cast. It is votes in Congress that have caused a government shutdown. That's why we're here. You either vote yes to open the government or you vote no to keep it shut down. And the votes are public record. And the same people that are voting to shut down the government, to deny food to families, are then walking out and trying to lie to the American people and blame somebody else for their actions. The American people won't have it. The American people will not be lied to. It's time that Chuck Schumer and his Democrat colleagues end this madness. Let's open the government back up again and get to a negotiation on the differences we have. Our whip, Tom Emmer.
Let me say this. The American people will not be played with like we're toys. That's what the American people will not be. Okay? And they're going to find out sooner than later if they don't hurry up and open this government back up.
Every Acorns customer
Go
has
ahead.
Some
Thumbs
write
up,
us
thumbs
letters.
up. Okay? Thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel today so you can come in, have these conversations that we're having. In Ear Hustle, we're tapping into the day 34 of the government shutdown and see what's happening, what's going to happen. I did hear that SNAP benefits were going to be given out, but that is the reserves. You know, I believe they were saying it's so many billion of SNAP benefits that go out every month, and the reserves are like 5 million or so, so it's not that much. There was an order from 2 judges this past weekend to, give out these SNAP benefits to these families. And today, Monday, the 3rd, President Donald Trump was called into a meeting regarding releasing these benefits. Right now, we're listening to, we're ear hustling and just, I want to hear what they have to say. And this is my first time listening in, just like you. So go ahead and hit the thumbs up and participate.
For the Democrat shutdown. Here are some headlines from over the weekend highlighting the pain the Democrats are inflicting on the American people each day that they prolong this mess. Quote, government workers, SNAP recipients feel the pain as the government shutdown drags on. Quote, staffing shortages, Meyer air travel as shutdown stretches on. Quote, government shutdown threatens to delay home heating aid for millions of low-income families. And that's just to name a few. Democrats have now voted against opening the government 14 times. That's 14 times that they voted against our military. That's 14 times that they have voted against federal law enforcement officers, air traffic controllers, and TSA agents. 14 times they have voted against low-income Americans who rely on programs like SNAP and WIC. Why? Not because they actually care about lowering the cost of health care like they claim. Just look at the 68-page counter-proposal they filed in the Senate. Only 1.5 pages reference health care. The other 66 outline their radical policy priorities like billions of dollars for foreign climate projects or $500 million to prop up leftist media outlets. The fact of the matter is that the Democratic Party is not fighting for you, the American public. They've shut the government down to pick a fight with President Trump and to score points with Kami Mandami and Omar Fada, the Omar Fada wing of their party. The Democrats have become kamikaze politicians who are so focused on winning some kind of political game that they've justified blowing up everything in their wake, including the livelihoods of their own constituents. Democrat Senator John Fetterman said it best on CNN yesterday. Quote, We are hurting the very people that we fight for. And now we're getting nothing for them if we continue to keep our government shut down. Quote, "This is wrong," he went on to say, and he's exactly right. It's past time for Democrats to end the political games, pass our clean CR, and reopen the government for the people they were elected to serve. Back to the speaker.
Questions? Manu, you get it first every time. This is not fair.
Last week, you came here to these mics and you were very critical of Joe Biden's use of the auto pen, pardon. You said you didn't even know he was pardoning. The last night on 60 Minutes, President Trump admitted not knowing he pardoned a crypto billionaire who was guilty to money laundering. Is that also concerning?
I don't know anything about that. I didn't see the interview. You have to ask the president about that. I'm not sure. Yes, ma'am.
Last week on Friday, you said that if there was any way to fund SNAP, that the Trump administration would be happy to do it. Now, two judges have come out saying that it is likely illegal to stop SNAP payments. One is giving the Trump administration until today to make a decision on how to move forward.
We discussed your work. Now, I want to know,
Thumbs
is there
up,
anything
thumbs up,
in your
thumbs up. And I want to address this comment right here. Let me see, where is it at? I come back. Where did I see it at? Let me see. Felons in the White House just ordered. Okay, this is it right here. Just ordered the grocery stores, private companies. Okay, I don't know. I did hear of this too. CR ordered private grocery stores, companies, to not assist with feeding the American people. You heard it. These felons in the White House. I agree with that. Yes. These felons in the White House ordered the stores to not assist with discounts for food for people who have SNAP benefits. Now, the kicker is the government is shut down. The SNAP benefits are shut down. So how is the government ordering stores not to participate in helping with discounts when nobody's on a SNAP right now? That is the most evil and diabolical thing you could do, is force people to be hungry. And to that I say, okay, we're going to continue. Go ahead, get the thumbs up, double tap your screen, subscribe to the channel today. I am your host, Ethereal.
Well, he and I talked about this quite a bit over the weekend, multiple times. The president is desperate for SNAP benefits to flow to the American citizens who desperately rely upon it. He has bent over backwards, as you know, to get the troops paid, to keep WIC funding going. He's found creative solutions. The SNAP situation, as Secretary Rollins and I explained at the press conference on Friday, has legal impediments to that. It was understood, and we got legal advice, and it made sense to me that the contingency fund in SNAP could not be used unless the underlying funds were flowing. As Secretary Rollins relayed to you, this is pretty commonsensical. The contingency fund is an extra, in layman's terms, it's an extra fund that is there, for example, if you have an unexpected natural occurrence like a hurricane or something, and SNAP benefits are flowing, but you have a subset of the population that needs additional benefits, then the contingency fund would go. The way we always understood it was the contingency fund could not be used legally if the underlying fund was suspended. And that's what's happened in the CR. The Democrats voted to stop SNAP payments. So you have two liberal courts, Obama judges, as I understand it, who said, no, that's not right, get them paid. Well, it's more complicated than that, because as you know, it costs over $9 billion to fund SNAP for a month, and we only have, I think it's $5.2 billion in the contingency fund.
$9 billion.
So you have a big shortfall. So it's not as easy as hitting go send on a computer. You got to go through and recalculate partial payments to the 42 million recipients of the program. That puts a huge burden on states and on the feds to try to figure that out in short order. So what the president said logically was, okay, Your Honor, if you're saying we can do it, I'll go for that, because I want SNAP to go to the people. It's the Democrats that stopped it, not us. So tell me how to do it. because I have all my personnel here in the office, the legal minds and the number crunchers, and they're trying to figure out how this can be done. Give us some guidance. We're glad to do it. So that's where we are at this impasse right now.
You are right about that. The government should save a lot of money if they don't bring the SNAP program back. But you know what we do in America? We give other countries the money. Just like when Biden was in office, we gave $3 billion to Ukraine. Just like President Trump just met with, what was the president from Venezuela, El Salvador, wherever he was, another country, where he want to send illegals and you homegrown Americans. That's right. He's coming for your homegrowns. Did you hear that one? He want to send them over to El Salvador. I have to look it up. I should have wrote it down. My bad. What he wants to send them over to a prison system outside the country. Yeah, they would save a lot of money so that they can give it to another country to house homegrown Americans and so-called AKA immigrants and migrants and everybody who has invaded America. Right? They should save a lot of money. Let's continue.
You should note that the president's not appealing the decision. He wants SNAP to be done, but he doesn't see the mechanism to do it. So you have Treasury, you have USDA, you have the other agencies involved that are working overtime, literally around the clock over the weekend, trying to figure out how to do this. But everybody needs to know it's not the full amount, assuming they could get this done and processed. The court acknowledged that, thanks to the president for saying that they wanted to do it. Everybody's on the same page here. We just don't know how. It's unprecedented. This has never happened before in this way. And so we're hopeful. But I would just say this, looping us back to how the easiest way to get full SNAP payments to everybody who's eligible is for the Democrats to come in here and vote to reopen the government on a clean, nonpartisan CR. It's a game that's being played and real people are being hurt, and the administration gets all sorts of accolades and appreciation from us for bending over backwards trying to make sure people are not feeling the pain and that the harm is mitigated as much as possible. Yes, sir.
Do you agree with President Trump that now is the time to get rid of the filibuster? He's saying it's just going on too long. Let's get the nuclear option.
So
My name is Scott Harris.
All right, as the commercials roll through, go ahead and get the thumbs up, participate in the chat, and also subscribe to the channel today. It is not the government's responsibility to feed the people. You're right. But it's the government's responsibility to balance the economic crisis that we're having. How are you going to keep inflating stuff and not making it a way for people to keep up when you still got minimum wage? I'm talking minimum wage at $7.25. That's a fact. So if you don't want to feed the people, make it to where the people can feed themselves. Because you want them to work, but you got a lot of Americans working on slave wages. Because $7.25, I was still in high school and it was $7.25. And we are in 2025. You all make that make sense. So if the government don't want to feed the people, let's relook at how we are divvying up the dollar bill around here. Who's getting taxed the most? We need to look at all of that. And then we can say it's not the responsibility of the government to help feed the people. That's just what I'm thinking. Go ahead, get the thumbs up. And we're going to continue. Day 34, government shutdown.
Of course, the filibuster came up. This is a Senate matter. It has nothing to do with the House. Everybody wants to know what my opinion is. My opinion is irrelevant. I understand desperate times call for desperate measures. I also understand that traditionally we've seen that as a safeguard. I mean, I obviously shared my thoughts with the president on that. As much as I have wanted to blow up the filibuster sometime as a House member when we were not getting what we wanted done in our agenda, I hear my Senate Republican colleagues, some of the most conservative people in Congress, who say it's an important safeguard. It prevents us. It holds us back from the Democrats' worst impulses. What would the Democrats do if they had no filibuster impediment, no speed bump at all? They've already told us. They would pack the Supreme Court. You'd go from 9 to 13 or 15 or 17 or however many liberals they can pack on the court. You would have D.C. and Puerto Rico be made into states, which would give 4 additional Democrat senators there in the count. and make us a permanent minority, I guess that would be their calculation, you'd see massive restriction of the Second Amendment rights. You'd see them federalize elections so they could take over and manipulate things in the red states. I mean, there's a lot of abuses that could come. And so that's the caveat. That's what they're working through. And I speak frankly and honestly with the president, and he's very passionate about this. We're all very passionate. I think what you see in this debate we're having on our own side is a reflection of the anger that we feel, the real desperation that we feel, because we want the government to be reopened. We want to serve the American people as best we can. And any hindrance to that is something that everybody's looking at very carefully. Again, not a House issue. It's a Senate issue, and we'll see how that's resolved. Chad.
Hasn't the ship sailed on the CR? November 21st, that's 18 days. Isn't it time to do something new this day?
We're very mindful of the calendar. We're very frustrated by that. It's part of the reason we're so angry about this, because they're eating up the clock, and the Democrats know how much more we have to do here this year. But we cannot do it if the government's not opened and not serving the people. And so this is a very important matter. It's something that we're giving all of our attention to. Our leaders will go and meet on the calendar right now. We watch it every day. But the simplest way to get all these issues resolved, healthcare, everything else, to get it all finished up for the year, is for them to reopen the government and make sure people are not hurting, instead of Democrats over here playing political games to cover their own backside. I hope the election tomorrow is a change, a sea change in all this. I hope that after everybody votes and they go in their room and they make the calculation that, well, maybe we won't have to hold that line anymore. Maybe they won't punish us. Maybe it won't affect turnout in our states in these elections. Maybe after tomorrow they'll come to their common senses again and do the right thing. We certainly pray that is true. And Republicans will be on the job every single day, serving our constituents, helping guide them through the chaos that the Democrat shutdown has created, and pray that they do the right thing and stop making the American people suffer because of this nonsense. Thank you.
All right. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Ooh-wee. This will be the longest shutdown in history. And you know who had the longest shutdown in history? What president? You guessed it, President Trump. The last time he shut it down, it was 30-something days. And now they talking about this one's going to be the longest. I mean, we're probably going to have to put this one in the Guinness World Book of Records. Do they even have the Guinness World Book still? Oh, I don't know. Y'all go ahead, get the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. So we're going to listen to, that was the end of that broadcast, by the way. We were ear hustling. And I heard earlier today, I was listening to another broadcast where President Trump was called into a meeting today regarding these food stamps, these SNAP benefits. So we're going to just ear hustle on this real quick.
November, which is great news.
Hold on.
President Trump has agreed to issue SNAP benefits for November, which is great news for the 42 million Americans that are on food stamps that have been waiting for positive news regarding SNAP benefits ending on October 31st. However, there is one issue. The president has asked the government lawyers to go back to court and clarify one issue with the judge before he's going to authorize food stamp benefits to be paid for November. That is after two federal judges ordered the Trump administration to use the emergency fund that is available to issue SNAP benefits. But the president is not convinced, so he asked the government lawyers to go back and talk to the judge and clarify one question. Well, the judge on Saturday, yesterday, heard the president and gave the government an order. They should come to court tomorrow, which is Monday, and answer two questions. And the two questions are this: are they going to issue full SNAP benefits tomorrow, which is Monday, November the 3rd, or are they going to issue partial SNAP benefits on Wednesday, November the 5th? Those are the two questions the judge wants them to come to court and answer. So here is what this tells me. Food stamp benefits are going to be issued for November. The question is, when in November this is going to happen, because two judges told the administration to issue the benefits. The president said the order wasn't clear, so he asked the government lawyers to go back to court. The court is now saying, come back on Monday. There is so much going on. I'm going to explain everything in detail so you can follow what is happening and, most importantly, when your SNAP benefits are going to come in. My name is Kwame Kwade. I am a government benefits expert. For 15 years, I've been helping seniors get the retirement benefits they deserve. I create content on Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and other personal finance topics that affect seniors and their retirement, their pocketbook, and their benefits. So if you are new to my channel, welcome. I am glad you're here.
And let me give a shout out to this channel. If you want to go over there and get this information and subscribe, the channel is called Benefit Insider. Benefit Insider. We are ear hustling regarding the SNAP benefits. Just some updates that you might want to know and you might want to pass on to people who you might know in your community or could use this information. Let's get it.
A quick favor, go into the comment section and let me know your city and your state. And if you've been following my channel for a while now, welcome back. I am glad you're here. We have a ton to cover, but I'm going to walk you through this sequentially so that you can understand how we got here. And then I'm going to tell you what you need to do, where you can get help in the meantime, because today is November the 2nd, and a lot of people were supposed to get their food stamps yesterday. And so where can you get help in the meantime? Well, a lot of states are providing major help right now to food stamp recipients. So I'm going to give you a list of those states and where you can get help while this legal thing plays out. And to add confusion to all of this, the Treasury Secretary, and the Treasury Secretary is an important part of the government. He's a key person in the government who, of course, holds the government's purse, right? The Treasury Secretary is the guy who kind of like keeps tab of the government's money. And here's what the Treasury Secretary came out and said yesterday. I think it was actually today. So let me pull that up, because then that adds another layer of confusion, which I want to make sure that we all understand. So here is it. Treasury Secretary reveals potential payout date. So
Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up as the commercials roll through. Let him get his coins. Go ahead, thumbs up. Hello, welcome into the chat. You're free to put down your thoughts, your opinions, as long as you stay respectful to the chat and to me. I'm your host, Ethereal, and we're just getting some updates regarding the SNAP benefits. And you can go to this channel. The channel is called Benefits Insider.
That was actually today that the SNAP benefits, which roughly impact 42 million Americans, could resume by Wednesday. His comment came after two federal judges ruled that the administration must use contingency funds to pay SNAP benefits. So the president is saying, he doesn't think the government has the authority, so he's going back to the judge for clarification. The Treasury Secretary is saying that they're going to be paid on Wednesday. The judge is asking the government to come to court tomorrow to tell him whether they're going to pay tomorrow or Wednesday. So here is where we are. So if you've been confused by all of this, let me take you to the very beginning of how this all started. So basically, the Trump administration during the government shutdown has said that, they did not have the authority to use money that is sitting in an emergency fund in order to pay for SNAP benefits. Meanwhile, during a previous shutdown in the previous Trump administration, they had tapped into the same reserve to pay food stamps benefit, but now they're saying they cannot do it legally, which was very confusing to a lot of people. It was like, then why did you do it before? This is not the first time that money has been used to pay for SNAP during the shutdown. And so a bunch of Democratic governors and attorney generals went to court to force the government to do something they have done before, but were refusing to do it now. So when they went to court, the judge, by just what the judge was saying, everybody felt like the judge was going to rule. And this is all happening this past week. So here is what that judge had to say. And that set off all of this. Right now, the judge said, Congress has put money in an emergency fund for an emergency. And it's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency, meaning the government shut down. when there is no money and a lot of people are needing their SNAP benefits. U.S. District Judge Indira Tawani said near the end of the hearing, referring to the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, the formal name for food stamps. Now, though the judge's options vary, one possibility is that she issues an emergency order that essentially compels the administration to tap into the emergency funds. While she indicated from the bench that she was likely to issue a ruling favorable to the group of Democratic attorney generals and governors who sued the administration earlier this week, she acknowledged that the benefits, which should start being sent on November 1st, will be delayed. So this is the judge in Massachusetts that is saying this. Then on Friday, she issued her order. And then another judge in Rhode Island, who had also received another lawsuit on the same issue, issued another order. So two judges in the span of 1 hour issued orders saying the same thing. Exactly what a lot of us have been thinking, that the administration has used this money before to pay for SNAP benefits. What is the issue now? Let me make sure my mic is turned on. What is the issue now? Why they cannot do it right now? And so they issued this order that the government must pay the money. So then that is when President Trump stepped in and said, okay, we get it. We are going to pay the money, but not so fast. I still don't think that we have the authority to pay this money. So here is where the president came in and said, Trump says he has asked the court to clarify SNAP ruling. So the president threw the thing back to the court. And that was October the 31st. So President Trump said Friday that his administration lawyers are not sure they have the legal authority to pay federally funded SNAP benefits during the shutdown, and said he has asked the court to clarity from the courts in the wake of two recent decisions. Our government lawyers do not think we have the legal authority to pay SNAP with certain monies we have available, and now two courts have issued conflicting opinion on what we can and cannot do. Trump said in a post on Truth Social, if we are given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it will be my honor to provide the funding just like I did with the military and law enforcement pay. Trump said,
Okay, I want to pause right there. I want you to go ahead and take this number down for SNAP updates. If you need it, or you know anybody in your community who needs it, you want to give it out to food pantries, your churches. It's 443-293-0080. Once again, that number for SNAP updates is 443-293-0080. All right. Get the thumbs up, double tap your screen, and subscribe to the channel today.
To shifting funds that was used to pay troops as the shutdown stretched on. So the administration has found money to pay the troops and federal law enforcement, which I think is an amazing thing. That is the right thing to do. But right now, the question is, how do we pay SNAP benefits? Now, if you find all of this confusing, if there's so much happening that you cannot even keep up, text the word SNAP to 443-293-0080 and join my text list. You will receive important information about not only SNAP benefits, but information that will affect your finances and your benefits, and I'll bring it to you real time when they happen. You will join thousands of people, thousands of seniors that have already signed up, that are receiving 1 or 2 text messages from me with important news and update that they need to be aware of. So text the word SNAP to 443-293-0080 and you'll be added to my text list. So where we were, I was telling you that the president has taken the matter back to court. Well, that was going to cause a lot of delay. But here's what happened. Yesterday, we heard from one of the judges, because the judges are also listening to the president. And so here's what one of the judges says yesterday. So a federal judge yesterday thanked the president and orders him to make the SNAP payments anyway. So this is when the president said the order needs to go back, and for clarification, USDA must pay monthly food stamps benefit in full by Monday, which is tomorrow, or in part by Wednesday. So let's read this. A federal judge in Rhode Island. This is the other judge that issued the order, not the one I read to you. I told you 2 judges issued orders at the same time or 1 hour apart. And so this is the one from Rhode Island saying, I read everything the president said, and I'm telling him to issue the money anyway. So here's what that judge says. A federal judge in Rhode Island followed up his Friday oral ruling with a written one on Saturday, yesterday, requiring the president, USDA, to make full food stamps payment no later than the end of Monday, tomorrow, or alternatively, partial payments by the end of Wednesday.
69% of Americans don't
thumbs
understand
up,
what this
thumbs
word
up.
means. See, compounding is when
Participate. Go ahead, subscribe to the channel and click the thumbs up if you're watching from your PC. All right. We're getting some updates regarding the SNAP benefits.
Chief Judge John McConnell, Jr. of the U.S. District Court for the District of Rhode Island was responding to the administration's request for a written order, as well as Trump's Friday night social post asking the court for clarity on how USDA could legally make the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. So here's the thing. As I told you, a lot is happening fast. Rulings were issued on Friday. The president responded on Friday saying he wanted clarity. The judge responded on Saturday because the judge read the president's comments and responded, and now is ordering the administration to come to court and answer whether by noon, whether they're going to pay full payments by the end of Monday or partial payment by Wednesday. So, here's what the judge says. I do not want Americans to go hungry, Trump wrote on Truth Social after McConnell's earlier ruling from the bench on Friday afternoon. I asked the court to clarify how we can legally fund SNAP as soon as possible. If we're given the appropriate legal direction by the court, it will be my honor to provide the funding. Well, the judge said in his 7-page order, Saturday, McConnell acknowledged the president's social media post and wrote in footnotes, the court greatly appreciates the president's quick and definitive response to the court's order and his desire to provide the necessary funding. So the judge is acknowledging that the president has indicated that he is open to paying the money. And now the judge is saying, okay, now that you're open to paying it, here is how you pay it. All right. So the Trump administration had argued that they neither have the legal authority nor the funds available to pay full November or partial payments during the shutdown. Even if it could use the SNAP contingency fund, the administration argued in court those funds wouldn't be enough to cover the full payment. It would be difficult for administration to implement reduced benefits. But here's the thing, though, and I don't want to make equivalency here, but I'm just making a general point. The government found the money to pay the troops, which is the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. The government found the money to pay federal law enforcement, which is the right thing to do.
Yes.
I think the government can find the money to pay 42 million people who are going to go hungry.
Exactly.
If their SNAP benefits.
Let me pause for the cause. And while I'm pausing, I'm going to check to see if you guys are participating in the chat, because that's what we're here to do, and to get the thumbs up. But they can always find money to send to other countries when those countries are at war, right? And if you know anything about war, war is money. Okay, so they can find money to help out other countries when they are at war, but they can't find these extra dollars. Even, let's not even think about the reserve money that they supposedly have, right? I'm talking about they can't find any money to help the American citizens. And believe it or not, a lot of those people that are receiving SNAP benefits, they do work. Okay, now there's 144 people in the chat and 19 thumbs up. We can do better than that. We can do better than that. Go ahead and get the thumbs up. Participate. We're on our way out the door here shortly. So go ahead and hit the thumbs up. It's not going to hurt you to double tap the screen. You shouldn't want this message to just be for your ears only. You should want this to go out to the people, right? For people who are hurting that might need this message. So go ahead, double tap the screen, get the thumbs up, and we can continue with the program. All right. So they can find money, like I was saying, to help fund countries at war. Didn't Trump just send some money over to Africa for some troops to get some weapons? Y'all let me know if I'm wrong. If I'm misspeaking. If I'm, why they can always find money for war? Because war is money. War is capital. War makes money. Feeding hungry folks just makes a lot of poop. Okay? But this is the first land, the first people you're supposed to protect. And you are serving us. You are the servants for us, Congress, state representatives, so on and so forth. They can always find money. That's all I'm saying. Let me check again and see if y'all are participating. Okay, we just let it ride out because I guess it's too hard to participate and get the thumbs up. Let me go ahead and turn off the comments. Get my facts straight. What facts are you talking about, sir? They just sent money to help fund. Do you understand? To help fund war. You get your facts straight. All right? Let's see. I'm just checking because it's not that hard to participate. It really is not that hard. This should be information that you want other people to get. Wrong. I mean, where have y'all been? Where have y'all been? America always finds money to help fund war. Where have you been? Let's continue.
That's where we are. And so now we have a federal order that is coming in. So tomorrow, Monday, we're going to know when your SNAP benefits are going to come in. Is it going to come in tomorrow or Wednesday? That's why my video says what it says. I believe they're going to come in on Wednesday. I think tomorrow is too soon for them to turn the wheels of this big machine around, because remember, the USDA paused all of this a month ago, and it's not a switch on and switch off. We all wish it was, but it isn't. Now they have to get the information to vendors, and I don't even know how they will do partial payments. And so there's a lot of uncertainty. My speculation is that the government is going to pay full benefits by Wednesday, because paying partial benefits is going to create a lot of confusion. So by Wednesday, or definitely next week, we're going to see SNAP benefits paid in full. So essentially, this has been a roller coaster ride, and I am going to stay on top of that court case tomorrow when the federal government goes back to court to report to the judge what they are going to do. And the government is saying that partial payments is going to be very hard to do. I am going to stay on top of it and make sure that you know what happens. So if you want to be the first to know what's happening to benefits, then text the word SNAP to 443-293-0080 so that you can be added to my text list. It's free of charge. You'll receive 1 or 2 text messages from me each week, letting you know updates to SNAP benefits or other benefit programs that you should be aware of, or general information about finances, retirement, and other things that are important that you should know and be aware of.
That's right. So I hope you all got that information. You can share that information with people who might need it. Okay, that's what we're here for. This is what this community is for, to build and together, help one another together, and especially through crises like this. You might think that this is just affecting people who don't work. I've seen in the chat, go to work. A lot of these people do work. right? But I know that was basically, a lot of it is racially motivated because a lot of people really think that the face of food stamps are Black people. And that just simply is not true, you know? And so a lot of racist remarks do come out when it's just not true. The face of food stamps is not Black folks. We're only 20-some% of food stamps.
Of the
recipients.
41 million
Okay.
people that are on food stamps, y'all ready? 78% of them are white. You had in your mind that it's Black people that's on welfare. Only 26% of recipients of food stamps are Black people. We working hard every day. We're eating by the sweat of our brow. We making $1 out of 15 cents. Every other Saturday, because I don't want you to think that I am just commiserating
racism?
about.
Pause. How is the truth racism? When we bring out numbers, statistical numbers, and here we go, race. No, you're fine when you live a lie. It's okay when you believe a lie. It's the truth. Let me put you up here. Let me give you some shine. It's the truth. You don't want to hear the truth. It's not racism when you're getting facts. It's racism when you say racism when we bring out the truth. That's racism. Because you want to keep the face of poverty Black people. You understand? Let's continue.
Commiserating about the problem without offering solution. Of the 41 million people that are on food stamps, y'all ready? 78% of them are white. You had in your mind that it's Black people that's on welfare. Only 26% of recipients of food stamps are Black people. We working hard every day. We're eating by the sweat of our brow. We making $1 out of 15 cents. Every other Saturday, because I don't want you to think that I am just commiserating about the problem without offering solution. Of the 41 million people that are on food stamps.
Let's just get some more statistics. I know that was a Black face. So some of y'all, y'all have problems when you hear statistical and statistics come from Black faces. I know a lot of people have a problem when you hear people talk like they got some doggone sense, you know. So let's get a white face up here for you.
The food stamp card.
Yeah, food stamps. I've been on them multiple times before, and I'm very curious what this privileged white lady has to say about them.
That program is supplemented by our tax dollars. Now, have you ever thought about what is the majority of those SNAP cards being spent on?
My guess, on foods that people have access to help keep them alive.
10% of a SNAP card's money is spent on soda, Coke, Pepsi, and 70% is spent on like highly processed foods.
Yeah, when people asked her where she got her information, she said Ken Berry, which if you don't know who that is, congratulations, but let's just say his information, not very reputable. I found the real info though. 40% of every food purchase dollar was spent on basic items like meat, fruits, vegetables, milk, eggs, and bread. Another 40% on prepared foods, dairy products, rice, beans, and other cooking ingredients. And the last 20% was spent on sweetened drinks and foods. Sorry if people buying treats bothers you.
Does anyone else see a problem? So not only are our tax dollars buying the food that's making people sick, but now our tax dollars get to clean up the mess.
You know, I get it. It's gotta be tough to watch people struggle to buy what they need in order to survive instead of purchasing the hundreds of dollars worth of supplements you sell on your profile. So for anyone struggling out there, I'll tag Shannon and maybe you can go and educate her on what that struggle really feels like.
Okay, let's play that one more again because a lot of people, and I'm going to talk to the Black community. And especially, we got a lot of tap dancing coons in the Black community that don't want to speak straight and keep it clear and precise of what's going on. They tap dancing for the man. They tap dancing for MAGA. They tap dancing, not telling the truth. And they love to say Black folks is going to the store buying steak, lobster. You know, they might have seen one person in a video talk about they going to get steak and lobster. And it has run rampant in the Black community. That is what Black folks do, is just go buy steak and lobster. So that's why I wanted to bring up this video. I'm going to play it one more again, so we can get some real statistics.
The food stamp card.
Yeah, food stamps. I've been on them multiple times before, and I'm very curious what this privileged white lady has to say about them.
That program is supplemented by our tax dollars. Now, have you ever thought about what is the majority of those SNAP cards being spent on?
My guess, on foods that people have access to help keep them alive.
10% of a SNAP card's money is spent on soda, Coke, Pepsi, and 70% is spent on like highly processed foods.
Yeah, when people asked her where she got her information, she said Ken Berry, which if you don't know who that is, congratulations, but let's just say his information, not very reputable. I found the real info though. 40% of every food purchase dollar was spent on basic items like meat, fruits, vegetables, milk, eggs, and bread. Another 40% on prepared foods, dairy products, rice, beans, and other cooking ingredients. And the last 20% was spent on sweetened drinks and foods. Sorry if people buying treats bothers you.
Does anyone else see a problem? So not only are our tax dollars buying the food that's making people sick, but now our tax dollars get to clean up the mess.
You know, I get it. It's gotta be tough to watch people struggle to buy what they need in order to survive instead of purchasing the hundreds of dollars worth of supplements you sell on your profile. So for anyone struggling out there, I'll tag Shannon and maybe you can go and educate her on what that struggle really feels like.
The food stamp card.
Yeah, food stamps. I've been on them multiple times before, and I'm very curious what this privileged white lady has to say about it.
You lack sympathy or empathy when you think that it's okay to sit back and know that children are going hungry, to know that elderly people are going hungry, vets, and active military. Quiet as it's kept, active duty military do receive benefits, guys. That's right. You're active duty soldiers. So I wanted to bring you this information. I wanted to give you an update on what was going on. All right. And just run it back to get the information regarding the numbers you can call, or the number that you can call if you are in this predicament where you need to know updates faster than what the news can give you, faster than what I can provide for you. I did provide a number for you within this program so that you can share that number with people in your community, at your churches, at your food banks, What was said was by Wednesday, most likely, if you are a SNAP recipient, you will be receiving some kind of benefits, okay? So, you know, hold down the fort. Hopefully you have still some beans, rice, you know, your staple foods, and you make it through this storm. But know this, be the ant. Be the ant and not the grasshopper once this storm passes by. Prepare, because this was just a taste of what your government has in store for you. All right? My name is Ethereal. I am your host, and I'm out, and much, much love.